Emotional eating is something that's under-discussed and worth talking about. It can look like comfort eating or stress eating when working away at a problem. It can look like a guilt attached to certain foods. It can look like eating food at the end of the day on the couch after a busy day when you feel completely dead. This is something that wouldn't be so large and in your face, such as an eating disordered approach where it's really bothering you. That's a different thing for a medical professional. Instead, what I'm talking about is the kind of stuff that's arguably more troublesome in terms of it just being under-detected. The kind of thing you wouldn't even know you're doing that much. Something that is just a quiet thing that's done under the radar, where food is used as a strategy to help you get through your day or to whatever it is, in a way that doesn't allow you to actually enjoy food as much as you could compared to like a sat down enjoying the taste of a meal. But instead, it's just something else to help us get through life. So while people don't realize maybe how much they do this, they know that it might not be the best thing for them. And this isn't some kind of lecture series I'm about to do right now, as much as just bring a bit more awareness. Because even when you're trying to decide your overall best nutrition strategy, we're trying to get towards those weight loss goals. It could be a painful thing, like trying to lose weight for people. Something that's surrounded by a lot of guilt, a lot of failed attempts, a lot of frustration. And this could be the thing that's worth focusing on more than should I be having rice and potatoes at my lunch. Because it's not the thing that's actually blocking away your progress. Getting this right allows you to enjoy more food and get some of the food relief out of your system, and allows us to incorporate this stuff arguably a bit into our lifestyle and schedules. Sometimes, hey, it's the best strategy to avoid this or find different coping mechanisms in these times. Sometimes it's best to work them within your strategy, and I think we'll discuss that today. But more importantly, getting away from that cycle of where you're just using it as a way you don't even know, in just a way that ruins your progress, which leads you to be more stressed. Cycle repeats. I get it, I've been through this, I've helped clients through this, but let's discuss some things that actually help and some things we can implement to see if we can help this whole situation out. First is identifying triggers. It can be such an autopilot thing that when we're getting to some stressful part of work, hey, even me playing these videos, I know it's a temptation. You get into something that's a little bit uncomfortable and you're essentially trying to distract your brain from the uncomfortable problem that's in front of you. It might be just a hard mini solution, it could be some other stress, but it could be just something as simple as a bit of a kind of thing that you're subconsciously trying to delay. Issue being, you then went and had a snack, and when you come back, all the problem's still there. You know this, like I know this, but still, it's something that's worth addressing and actually identifying at the time. If you can then bring your conscious brain towards these things rather than autopilot, I'm gonna go off and do this, you can now put it into the framework of, hey, I just need to get through this 2 minutes and my stress is gonna be gone as relates to this little mini problem thing I've got to solve. Then I get to save my food for later. I can have larger voluminous meals. I can have snacks when I want them with the family versus half a muffin at my desk, which I'm not even gonna enjoy that much anyway, because I know in the back of my head, I've got to deal with some stress right now that I'm dealing with in 2 minutes anyway. Something cool happens when you start to that approach. It only takes a couple times of just recognizing it when it's there in place to recognize the trigger. Recognize, oh, I would be wanting to have a snack right now, but here's the cool thing. When you've done just once or twice, you then get to develop some confidence within yourself. I know how to get through this little period without breaking away into some snack that I'm not even gonna enjoy on net across my day. I can get through that little bit of stress and enjoy things later. You start to actually develop some positive momentum. You feel like you're not pushing a ball uphill, but you're rolling downhill with it in a positive sense, if that makes sense. Something cool happens when you start to address these things. A, you know when it's there, you recognize the trigger. But then if you just have a couple times of getting through that situation, saying, hey, I'm not gonna have that, whatever it is, I'm just gonna knock this stuff out, enjoy my food later, you start to develop some confidence because you've got previous evidence of you navigating through this mini headache. When that starts to happen across time, this is where it gets cool. You then develop a situation of these things don't actually stress you as much. The stress window of I need to solve some problem, I eat, I have a blood sugar dump, I'm still solving the problem, turns into some quick window, and you get to enjoy more food later on. Suddenly you don't feel like in those meals you got to restrict as much. The overall approach works and you're more confident. You start to see the ball can roll positively in your favor, but it's just a few mini thoughts of consciousness and implementation away. Another one is just boredom. Hey, I think we can all relate to this one to a degree, but this is where it's nice to have just different alternatives. So if you're at the couch, just things that are very low calorie, high satiating, large volume that you can munch on forever. Could be, yogurt or berries or fruits or vegetables or jelly light or other alternatives, drinks, etc. But things that might be different. And then if you combine that with something with a defined endpoint that you can quantify, for example, the small bag of chips versus, I think I had 1/3 of a bag of chips. Who knows how much of a bag of chips you had? No one knows. Particularly when you're boredom and autopilot eating, it suddenly can give you a bit lot more control on the overall thing. Now that you know what these things are, whether it's boredom, eating, identifying the triggers, knowing it's stress, if it's just to get away from some other feeling, you can start to regain the control of having food for when you want it. You can start to implement alternatives into your plan at the very least where, okay, if these situations come up, my snack of boredom is going to be this choice, while you start to develop the skills maybe of understanding how to identify your triggers. This is probably not an overnight thing. It's something I work across for over the course of a month with people on average. It does vary. But the truth is, which I just really want to encourage people who feel like they've got lost hope in this, it only takes just a couple times of working through that cycle for the positive benefits to start to compound and roll. So food is often solving another problem. Instead, let's solve the real problem and have these alternatives that allow you to have success even while we solve those other things.